Polygon Matic is at a point in which I believe could very possibly be the bottom. Based off of its historical data, there is a large amount of evidence to say that we could see some type of relief rally relatively soon here. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over exactly that. I'm going to be giving you guys my bullish thesis. I'm going to be giving you guys the invalidation as well as the confirmations as to what I'm looking for in order to go long on Matic, expecting that we will see some pretty strong gains relatively soon here. Now, the biggest thing that I've been talking to you guys about has been these breakdown targets over the last couple weeks. Now, as we of course did have this ascending wedge here, we knew that all of these touches to the downside would be our breakdown targets. But the moment in which we did come down to set this new lower low, we knew that those were completely out of the question for now, and that we would start to focus on some of these overextension targets towards the downside. Now, what I told you guys is that we needed to be paying extremely close attention to our Bollinger Bands, especially on the weekly perspective. The reason being is that one thing we know is that with the Bollinger Bands, there's only 3 key components, but they are extremely important. Key component number 1 is your 20 simple moving average. That is kind of the anchor, the center of your Bollinger Bands, which is this orange line here. Now, what we know is that with our Bollinger Bands, again, what we're going to do is take 2 standard deviations to the top side from that simple moving average and 2 standard deviations to the bottom side of that simple moving average as it creates this Bollinger Band envelope. Now, this Bollinger Band envelope is a very successful indicator in order of showing signs of overextensions to the upside or to the downside. What we can see from Matic is that ever since its inception, it has respected the Bollinger Bands. Every time we do get overextended outside the Bollinger Bands, we usually will resort back to this 20 simple moving average, which does confirm that its Bollinger Bands do act as, kind of signs of overextensions. As we can see here, we got overextended to the top side to the 20 SMA. Overextension here to the top side, 20 SMA, even kind of here to the SMA, and especially here to the SMA. Now that we have 3 to 4 confirmed times in which these have acted as overextension targets and metrics, what that tells us is that it will work probably, based off, again, historical data. It can't predict the future, but we can use it for ideas. We can kind of concur that there is a strong chance that this bottom side will work in a similar fashion. Now, do understand that Matic's price movement is going to be completely reliant on Bitcoin. So definitely do go check out yesterday's video on Bitcoin, as I talked about a very similar metric just about roughly 20 to 24 hours ago. Okay. Now, looking at Matic, one thing in which we can see is that now at this point, we have finally reached the bottom side of our Bollinger Band envelope. And if this thing is going to work similarly like it has ever since it was created, there's a strong chance that within the next couple, I would say about 4 to 6 weeks, we will see that resortment back up towards this 20 simple moving average, which at this point could look like some gains of even as far as 150%. So in today's video, let's kind of dive a little bit deeper. Let's start to look for signs of reversal. Let's start to talk about whether it is valid or feasible or not for this to be a bottom, and exactly how I would confirm this bottom in the idea that we do start to work our way back up to $1 first, and then from $1 back up to this 20 SMA. But what I want to do is I want to start off with the invalidation. I want to start to talk about what makes this invalid. What makes me say that we are going to continue to the downside and this crash is going to continue. What that's going to look like is the rejection off of the current level in which we are at, or which is between 65 to 70 cents. And if we get rejected here and get pushed back down below 48 cents, there is a very strong chance we do start to resort back towards 30 cents, which looks like a crash from this point down another, 50%. But from that 48% confirmation level, that would still be another about 35% or so. The reason being is that we are in a current level of importance, right? We had this previous wick up here. We had this resistance here, support here, support here. We created this little zone of importance. And if we lose this zone of importance right now, there's a strong chance we come back to backtest these previous levels of support, which again does look like a 35% loss. So at any point we lose 48 cents, do expect that drive towards 30 cents. I think that could also be a great short play if you are looking to short the market as these cryptos do continue to crash. But now that we know the invalidation at 48 cents, let's talk about where do we need to go from here in order to get to the upside. Well, my current game plan and my current goal is focusing right around $1. I think $1 is the current price target in which I'm trying to see Matic's price get to before we can even start to say it's going to go up to 150 or even 145. Okay. Now, the reason that $1 is important is because of a few very key levels, right? Or just key ideas. The first key idea is just simply the fact that it's a dollar, right? $1 is the most psychologically important level of any trader of a crypto around this price range, okay? Whether it's ADA Cardano coming down to $1, whether it's Matic going up to $1, $1 is always important. So a dollar, of course, is a strong psychological level. A dollar is also important in the sense that we are currently seeing our 20 simple moving average on the daily charts sitting directly at $1. And what we can see is that ever since we did get this establishment of support here, the 20 SMA has become extremely important. We back tested it, held it, and that pushes back up towards, this $1.60 range. From there, we crashed down below it. The moment we crashed down below it, things got extremely ugly. We retested, we came back up to it, and from there, that rejection off the 20 SMA pushed us down, right? Let's see. It pushed us down 70%. So we can very clearly see that this is a level of importance. So considering that that's a level of importance, we know that the price is going to want to resort back to it at some point, similar to what we saw here. So considering the fact that this is a level of importance and a very strong psychological level, my current game plan in the short term is looking to see the price resort back up towards $1. Well, the question then becomes, how do we get to $1? What do we need to be looking for on the even shorter time frames to get to $1 to confirm that we're working our way to $1 so we can start to get excited in the short term that we may get that 20-30% push? Well, what I'm looking for is going to be on the 4-hour charts. On the 4-hour charts, we are showing signs that we may want to start some type of short-term uptrend, in my opinion, back up towards the $1-ish area. Now, what is going to need to happen, though, in order for us to get there is two things. First and foremost, we need to clear this 20 simple moving average. On every single time frame, the 20 SMA is important. But on the 4-hour, I would say it is the most important. As you can see, we are holding up against that 20 SMA. Every single time we touch it, it gets weaker and weaker, but we absolutely must break it relatively soon before we do get a strong rejection back down below our breakdown point, which could open up doors of 35% corrections again to the downside. So as you can see, this 20 SMA has been serving as extremely important recently, especially over the last about 24 hours. So what I want to see is that we are capable of breaking this 20 SMA. If we're capable of breaking the 20 SMA, be on the lookout for the price to work its way back up above 75 cents. If we break 75 cents, that confirms that we have now then put in the higher low, if it looks something like this, for example, the higher low and the higher high. That means in the short term, we are seeing a sign of reversal. We are seeing some type of possible cup and handle play out. We are starting to show signs that a short-term uptrend has begun, with a break up target being right up around this previous point of macro resistance, which is currently, again, right around $1. So considering the fact that I am under the belief that a breakout here puts us in position to revisit $1, mixed in with all of those other dollar important indicators that we saw on the daily charts, I would be very confident to say that if we break 75 cents, that I will be going long, expecting a push up towards $1, but probably take profits around 95 cents or so just to play it safe. Now, in the event in which I do accumulate at this point going long, of course, with this market, I will always protect the downside. And what I would do is go ahead and set a stop loss below the previous point in which we established the low. So say if the price does something like this, right? We do this, we come back down to 58 cents, and then we continue. I'm accumulating here. I'm going long at that 75 cent level while setting a stop loss right below this previous low, which is looking like if it was 58, I would set it at 57 cents. Okay. So overall, that's my game plan. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for short-term signs of reversals that we are going to start to see these relief rallies, and I want to use these relief rallies as ways for me to make profits to then accumulate if the price does continue to the downside, or use it as a great dollar cost average opportunity if we are going to finally start to see the price working its way all the way back up towards the upside, eventually working its way all the way back up to the 20 SMA on the weekly charts, as we spoke about earlier today. I know I was talking about it getting back up to this 20 SMA, but this is at $1.50. We need to get back up to at least $1 first before even talking about this. And the method in which I just spoke about is the exact path that we need to take to get to that point. So with that said, I'm going to continue to update you guys as this does play out, and I will continue to let you guys know my thoughts and opinions. If you guys did enjoy, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace.